Question number 8 from the specimen paper, biology paper 2 higher tier, is on the topic of ecology, mainly focusing on the topic of food production. Food security is when a population has enough food to stay healthy. Lack of food security is a global problem. One way to maintain food security is to increase the efficiency of food production. Figure 10 shows how some pigs are farmed using intensive methods. So as you can see from the picture, you can see pigs behind bars mainly, and right behind them it looks like it's a wall. So they're actually in a very confined space. This is how most farm animals are actually produced. This is what we call intensive methods. And chickens are grown like this, lamb can be grown like this if you can manage it, if you can grow cattle as well, and thus both advantages and disadvantages to this. So the question is going to obviously lead to that. Some people think that farming methods shown in figure 10 are unethical. Suggest two other possible disadvantages of intensive farming methods. Now, having pigs or any livestock for that matter in close proximity to each other means that if one of them gets sick, then the disease can actually spread really fast. Which means that what do farmers do to avoid it? They actually just vaccinate the entire lot repeatedly or frequently, so that, and they introduce antibiotics in the food so that they don't actually get any catch any disease. Now the problem with that is the antibiotics, if it's too much when the pigs are culled or any of the livestock is culled, also chickens included, then the food is actually high in antibiotics which we might actually consume. That later on has a disadvantage as well, because we become antibiotic resistant by simply eating certain foods. So disadvantage, the question is asking, suggest two other possible disadvantages of intensive farming methods. So main is disease spread more rapidly. Antibiotics can build up in the food chain, or overuse of antibiotics, which leads to antibiotic resistance. And having these animals indoors means you're also using a lot of fossil fuels to heat up the barn. The third one, not so much, because if there's a lot of animals, mostly you don't have to heat it, other than if you're actually growing it in really cold climates or during winter time. Next question. Explain how the intensive farming of pigs increases the efficiency of food production. Now, here they're actually asking for the advantage. For the 4-mark question, you need to state clearly or have clear statements made identifying the farming methods which are linked to relevant explanations of how this increases the efficiency of food production. So, what is the advantage of growing pigs like this? You don't need a lot of space for the first thing, and keeping inside means you could control how they actually move, and keeping in relatively close or really small space means that they're not moving at all, especially chickens. If they're not moving, then that means they're actually not spending a lot of energy on movement, which means most of the energy is actually going into making muscle and fat. So the pigs are actually getting fat because they don't actually move a lot because of lack of exercise in a way. So here's the marking scheme answer. They are kept inside or in a temperature controlled environment, or kept enclosed in a restricted environment. So the explanation is for doing it is less energy is lost in controlling body temperature. Less energy is required for movement, so more energy is available for growth, and less energy or heat is transferred to the environment. So if the pigs are roaming around freely in the field, that means they need to constantly increase the amount of heat, body heat that they are producing, because they are exposed to the environment. So being indoors means that they're not losing a lot of energy in terms of producing heat, body heat. A newspaper reported that food security is a serious problem in remote communities in Canada. This is because Aboriginal communities are eating fewer traditional meats. Or you could call them the real natives, isn't it? One traditional food eaten by Aboriginal communities in Canada is seal. Look at table 4. From 2004 to 2010, the number of seals caught in the thousands. So in 2004, the number of seals caught was 362,000. Whereas in 2010, it was 67,000. That's a massive amount of number of seals, isn't it? Even then. Calculate the percentage decrease in the number of seals caught from 2004 to 2010. So what did it go down by? 362 minus 67 will give me 295. Now if I divide that by the total, which was 362, and then multiply that by 100, I should get the percentage decrease, which is equal to 81.49. Now I can leave it as it is, or I can round it off to 81.5%. The conclusion in the newspaper might not be correct. Suggest 2 reasons why. Now, what is the conclusion saying? Food security is a serious problem in remote communities because Aboriginal communities are eating fewer traditional meats. So, how do you know that they're actually eating fewer traditional meats? How do we know that they're actually eating fewer seals? Maybe they're eating other foods, right? So, it's not about the seals. It's actually they're saying that food security is a serious problem. Maybe they are eating, I don't know, McDonald's, right? Or other types of food, because other types of food are available. So Aboriginal community people or Aboriginal people can eat other foods, so they might not be in food insecurity. We do not know if other traditional food sources have declined as well. That brings us to the end of this question, and I will see you in question number 9.